Working for yourself is going to be stressful.
Past couple of years have been a little bit tougher on the tech sector.
You can't just willy-nilly send out random emails and calls. You have to know what you're doing.
At least just having a nice, well thought out LinkedIn page and a nice, well thought out website as well.
Always focus on the best candidate experience. Welcome back, guys, to another video. This is for all you entrepreneurs out there or wannabe entrepreneurs. Honest advice for anyone who wants to start their own business. And for someone who's been doing it for over 10 years, I have a lot of thoughts here and just happy to share some of the biggest things I think that are top of mind, hopefully that are relevant and valuable to you. If you're new here, welcome. Ryan and I are professional recruiters scaling our recruitment agencies. We work and engage with some of the best companies out there. And we're also happy to kind of give you value and education about an industry that we've come to love dearly. But Ryan, thanks for being on this video. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, happy to be here. This is going to be an interesting one because I think a lot of what we see online and on social media about starting your own business is the glitz and the glam. It's the Lamborghinis and the private jets, but there's a lot more prevalent and more likely scenario, the hard aspects of it and the truths that not a lot of people want to talk about. So this is going to be a super crucial video to watch if you either have your own business now or you are looking to start one sometime soon.
Beautiful. Advice number one is prepare for low cycles and hard times. They will never go away. They will always come. And if your business grows, they will just come at a greater scale, right? So if you're by yourself, the issues that you're dealing with are small because it's individual. If you have a small team, then the issues are a little bit bigger. If you're a bigger team, the issues are a little bit bigger. But basically, it's not going to go everywhere. And the only downside of social media, it's basically a highlight reel where it makes working for yourself super glamorous and exciting and amazing. Money just coming in 24/7 without you doing any work. That's just not realistic at all. So our job here is to obviously talk about the highs and the great aspects of working for yourself, but also just trying to keep it real. And there will be absolutely a lot of low cycles, and a lot of the low cycles might be a lot more painful and will also be longer than you actually expect. So number one, we're obviously going to contextualize this video to more of the recruiting, but this can be applied to really any business out there. When you work for yourself as a solo recruiter or freelancer, the easiest way to stabilize your business is to always start and never stop doing business development. As long as you have a good number of clients coming in, if you know how to go out there and engage your cold market, be able to transfer and convert cold clients, then your business will always be stable because then you can always get clients, you can always submit candidates, you can always do interviews, and ultimately you can always do offers. So our biggest tip here is the best way to stabilize the highs and the big swings of recruitment is to really nail down your business development. Now, let's talk about cash. So when you're working for yourself, you can do it part-time, or for those who are more reckless or perhaps even brave, you're doing it full-time, ripping off the band-aid, jumping in, follow the SMART approach, and you do have some sort of capital and savings.
Are you completely lost on how to implement AI or automation in your business? Are you struggling with getting responses from new clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to level up or break six figures and beyond? Or do you have no idea how to even start a successful recruitment business at all, whether it's full-time or part-time? If any of these resonate with you, please check out the Recruiter School, a premier educational and coaching program that will teach you everything I've learned in the past decade that has helped me bill over $5 million on my own desk, where I had also the chance to work with the best companies in the world. You'll learn everything from what is the best ATS to how to master client acquisition, what are the best plugins and tools, what are the best platforms to find candidates on, how do you optimize your website and even LinkedIn profile, or how do you actually systematize your workflow with the best AI and automation. The best part, we will also personally handhold and be with you every step of the way through our one-on-one coaching just to make sure you understand and implement everything perfectly. But don't just take my word for it. Since we launched, the number of success stories that we created have truly been jaw-dropping and amazing. Whether it's making 5 figures part-time, to picking up their first clients within the first couple days to a week, to now making $30, $40, $50,000 per month consistently, I could go on and on and on. So if you're interested to learn more, make sure you click on the link below to book a time. Since our schedule books up really fast, make sure you reach out quickly. See you on the other side.
I do hope that you guys follow the SMART approach and you do have some sort of capital and savings, a nest egg, if you will, saved up, right? My personal rule of thumb is you want to at least have 6, ideally close to 12 months of cash. Working for yourself is going to be stressful. There's things that are going to stress you that are not going to stress you at a regular job, right? You're just going to be, your baseline of stress will just be elevated so much higher, and it's going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to take you longer to actually make your first dollar. And so what I don't want you guys to do is be able to stress about not having enough money to kind of keep the lights on, right? So don't be reckless. Don't just kind of work off the credit card. Don't just have like 1 or 2 months. Try to have a couple months so that you're comfortable and you don't have to really worry about that. You can just focus on actually implementing and growing the business, right? And when it comes to just like new people starting out, I think there's an amazing opportunity for people to absolutely crush it right now in 2025 and beyond. Of course, there's the issue and the concern that the market's oversaturating competitors. Truth is, there's a lot of competition out there. You're absolutely right. But most of the competition are filled with noobs or amateur recruiters who don't know what they're doing. So this is your opportunity to create your own space and presence and identity in a crowded market. And the easiest way is to just be really specialized, get really well known for one thing instead of like spreading yourself out too thin and being more of like a generalist. Be a specialized person, start your identity, cement it, and then you can always add more positions down the line. And then of course, like the income is always unpredictable with recruitment, especially on the direct side. It's always one lump sum at a time. So make sure you manage your cash, and you obviously like, plan ahead for struggles, for days, weeks, months where you're not doing anything, but also get ready for like those months where you do like 7 placements in a row and it just feels literally you're unstoppable. But absolutely, this is all about psychology and mental attitude, a mental fortitude and strength. If you don't have this, you will not survive working for yourself. It's still challenging for me. And as our team or business continues to grow, I'm just more confronted with different types of issues. A lot of the times it's just bigger and a higher scale and higher stakes, right? And so it just never gets old. It just comes with you having a business. If you want to enjoy the glory and the life of a business, you have to be okay with the risks and the stress of it. You can't have one without the other. So that's a little bit about the slide, Ryan. Anything that you kind of want to add in here?
The only other thing I wanted to hit on is something that you kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, Preston, about cementing in your industry, in your niche, but also growing over time if needed. And that kind of goes to this third point here, to where if you're in a market downturn, especially market downturns that tend to be more industry specific, like I know the past couple of years have been a little bit tougher on the tech sector. And let's say you recruit only in tech, or even a smaller subsegment of tech that might get particularly hit hard by macroeconomic headwinds. That's the time when it makes sense to maybe try and branch out a little bit into different sectors or different industries. So while it's kind of like a mixed bag of, yes, like absolutely like niche down, the more niche you are, the better. But if the niche you chose for whatever reason is just getting hit so hard economically and there's a lot of layoffs, not a lot of hiring, that's when it makes sense to take a step back and think about maybe there's a different area within recruitment that I can go that is doing a little bit better right now. So I'm not telling you to be a generalist, but also be niche, but also niche with keeping our eyes out to see what's going on in the market as well.
That's actually a great point. And just want to piggyback by saying use common sense too. Like we are recruiters, but we're also business owners, not just recruiters, right? And so a lot of times when people are like, oh, my sector, my market is dead, it's not really dead. It's just, I think you're really just failing to know exactly how to convert in that market, because client acquisition, BD, we can make a whole nother video or a series about this. It's a whole nother ball game right now. You can't just willy-nilly send out random emails and calls. You have to know what you're doing. So I think it's just people's just lack of adapting to the times and evolving, and people who are being stubborn saying, well, this worked 5 years ago, so I'm just going to continue doing the same thing now, especially for client acquisition, going out there and being able to stabilize your business completely changes. It requires you to level up, right? But for, again, depending on your niche, some people are super specific, and maybe rightfully so, they're actually right saying, hey, Preston, because of international microeconomics, geopolitics, or whatever, something happening in my country, my market is actually dead, or like it really is completely stopped. So if that's the case, don't make excuses and whine and complain. Pivot another industry that's moving, right? It's our responsibility to make sure our business is consistent year round and not just blame, oh, I'm just going to like go to the beach for 5 months because nothing's happening in my market. You have every right to do that if you want, but I'm sure with me and Ryan, we want to do placements. We want to make money. We want to continue making a living. And so if you're kind of walking into a wall, it's your job, it's our job, it's our obligations as business owners to make the right decision for your business, and then work on another industry or two and wait for your primary one to catch up. And then you can always go back, follow common sense and follow business. Number 2, this is really, really relevant, Ryan. It's offering the best candidate experience. So just quick thought here. I think like where a lot of agencies, new recruiters go wrong is they just completely forget about this. And everything's about transactional. It's like, how do I just like raw force, not doing it correctly? Just like, how do I aggressively get clients, aggressively get candidates, shove my candidates down my client's throat and just, hope that like you can make money like that. And you can still absolutely make money like that. But will the clients have a good experience working with you? Probably not. They're going to look at you like any other recruiter, like a resume bender, not personal, not professional, super aggressive. And more importantly, what about the candidates, right? Like your candidate is one of the most important products that we're selling, and you want candidates to have a good experience with you and also with your client so that hopefully they could come back and work with you for future opportunities. Maybe they become a client themselves. Maybe they find another job themselves. So I think like it's very easy just to be focused on the transaction and the financial aspect of it, but it's very, very important to remind ourselves like this business is all about relationships. You want to have really good relationships with not just the client, but also with the candidates, because that will open up so many doors for you and your business that you're not even thinking or seeing about right now. So have more of a long-term horizon instead of a short-term horizon. But what additional thoughts do you have, Ryan, about offering the best candidate experience?
Yeah, it really is something that we don't talk about enough, because we talk to recruiters all the time who their whole focus is get new client, get new placement, collect check. That's all they care about. And like, yes, that is nice at the end of the day. That's not really what we're here in the business to do. We're here to help people. We're here to make those matches. And so I think if you do have that mindset, people are going to notice. And so people hire people work with the people they like. If you don't put emphasis on ensuring that both your candidates and clients have a good experience with you, you can almost guarantee that they'll never want to work with you again. And so if you want to just keep spinning your wheels, always having to make new relationships and new clients and new candidates, sure, go for it. But if you really want to grow sustainably long term, you have to ensure that everyone you work with just has the best experience working with you.
Next advice is you got to think about building a personal brand. This really wasn't a thing 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But obviously, with the prevalence of social media, now the world is kind of waking up where, the people who are using social media, not just like your average Gen Z, super young kids doing dances and memes and pranks. This is an actual really important tool that can be used to further your career, but also your business, right? Building a personal brand is absolutely everything, where it just adds another additional element to building your credibility online, right? And when it comes to this business, which is a people business, clients also ideally want to work with people that they can vibe with, or they understand, or maybe they can relate to you. And they'll obviously, a lot of them will check you out on their website, LinkedIn, social will just give them a POV or dimension about another aspect of you. And so just make sure that you can kind of keep that in mind and be able to execute and think about this very, very seriously. So when it comes to about this, making sure that, you're aware that clients will check you out. A visible personal brand absolutely cannot just help you with outbound that we focus on so much with BizDev, but it's also like inbound as well. So like, imagine if you have a great client acquisition strategy and you're reaching out to clients and cans, but imagine if that's working plus like inbound to people coming to you because of all the great content you're putting out there. That's just honestly like a win-win-win-win, a great hedge. What else, Ryan? What are your other thoughts about building a personal brand?
Yeah, I agree. And ideally, this is something that you put a lot of time into, have regular posts on different social medias like LinkedIn, maybe even YouTube, like we're doing here. But I think even if you don't have the time or the desire to do something intense as this, at least just having a nice, well thought out LinkedIn page and a nice, well thought out website as well is just going to do wonders, because that is a really quick way to lose credibility with a potential client. Is they look on your LinkedIn profile and it's messy, or it's just not professional, or your website's like half built out. And so even if you don't put a ton of time, energy, and resources into having this incredible personal brand out there, just doing the bare minimum to ensure that you have a nice brand is going to do wonders in giving you that credibility and trust when you're reaching out to potential candidates and potential clients.
Next advice is protect your time, right? So working for yourself, you don't have anyone to answer to except yourself. And bad news of that is that everything that you think you need to do, it's easy to kind of treat them equally. And then you just attack them equally, spreading yourself out completely thin throughout the day. And then by dinner, you're exhausted. You're like, you know what? I did a good day, but what did you actually do? I want to challenge you on that to be able to audit and reflect on your day, right? It's very easy to have a lot of activity and feel busy, but did you actually get anything done? Are you actually making money? Are you actually a step closer to making money? Are you actually like a step closer to a huge milestone or a project that you want to complete? Or are you just kind of doing a little bit of everything at the same time, playing whack-a-mole, being a firefighter, and then you're just kind of spinning your wheels and engine and going actually really, really slowly and not really accomplishing anything? So I think it's really, really important to be so on top of your time. Anything that is taking you away from the main aspects of the business, which is growing your business, growing clients, growing candidates, doing placements, should be secondary, right? And if you're spending your time on social media or admin stuff or finance stuff or website stuff, and then you only have like an hour to find clients, you are not using your time wisely. So you got to be super anal about this and really be on top of it and value every single minute and hour and of your day, because like you can't get it back. And you got to make sure that if you're going to put the work in, if you're going to work hard, like might as well commit to something that's actually like pushing your business forward. And this also relates to clients, right? And the beautiful thing about like bringing clients in consistently and having the ability to do so is you no longer have to be desperate to one client. Can you imagine if you only had one or two clients and you couldn't get any more, and these clients end up being really bad, really challenging, really kind of, they have no trust, if they don't respect you, they don't even respond to you, your life is going to feel like hell. It's going to move super slowly. It's going to be impossible to get anything done. But what if now you have the ability, right, at a flick of a switch to be able to bring in clients, and a lot of these better? Absolutely, I would prioritize those than being stuck with your two subpar average clients that are making you a difficult time, right? So you got to be able to say no to bad fit clients. And I know that when you're just starting out right now, that might be easier said than done, because you're like, I don't have any clients. I only have one. I got to do whatever I can to get them filled. Yes, absolutely. But zoom out. You also have to be not just fixate on that just one client. You have to have the ability to go out there and get continual clients consistently. And if you do that, this business will go from feeling like maple syrup and honey and moving slowly to feeling amazing, where now you can just pick and choose who you want to work with, and you just want to work with the best. So focus on activities that actually help. But Ryan, can you relate to this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is something that I still to this day remind myself every day of, okay, am I being busy or am I being productive? And so to your point, Preston, it is super important to focus on what activities are actually pushing the needle forward. But I will also say you got to balance out this slide with the other slide we said about the candidate experience, right? So you want, at the same time, you want to give folks the candidate experience, maybe spend a few more minutes on each call with them to build that relationship, but not too much time, because you got to protect your time. But you don't want want to protect your time too much where you're just super brutalist on these phone calls, you're not building relationships and you're not growing your business that way as well. So as with anything, it is a little bit of a give and take to where you want to be smart and be very strategic with your time, but that doesn't mean you have to schedule, every micro minute down to where you don't have even a breathing room to either have some chit chat with the candidate on the call, or even take a 30-minute lunch break, or take a little break, walk at the end of the day for your mental health, right? So it's all about being productive and being smart with your time, but not being too focused on that where you can start to lead to burnout and to lack of real relationships. So just make sure it's something that you keep in mind as you balance these two competing ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to do the job well, but it's important to be able to do it sustainably, right? Over the long term. And it's so easy. It's great to go through like short sprints at a time, but if you're just going 200 miles an hour, absolutely going to burn out. And I think burning out will happen to you. It's inevitable, but like, I hope you can kind of learn from it and be like, how do I protect my time so it doesn't do that? I would honestly prefer for people to be able to like maybe work a little bit less, but every single minute within that work bracket is 100% productive than working hours longer, but you're actually like 80% or 70% efficient, right? So like a classic example is when I had my first job at my recruiting agency, we had about 30, 40 people there in the New York City office, one of the highest producers in the office, but I was also one of the first people to actually leave 5 o'clock sharp, And the reason why is I was hyper efficient and optimized, and I'm not going to just dilly dally. I'm just not going to sit here and waste time. I'm just going to do my job as best as I can. And then if they don't need me, they don't need me anymore, right? So just because you work longer doesn't mean like you're getting more done. And so that's something we want to make crystal clear. This last point is fantastic. If you can't be consistent, don't do it. I mean, I think any business requires just a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices in the beginning. You absolutely can't get around that. Maybe you can start to think about getting around some of it now with AI agents and AI coming into it. But on the whole, starting any business is like trying to push a boulder up a big hill. It's just going to be brutal to even get that boulder to start moving. But as you start moving, it develops momentum, gets easier and easier and easier. And at some point you reach that hump where maybe you optimize the systems, you're using the right technology, you're able to make a couple key hires, you get a lot of time back. Then maybe now at that point, you can also kind of think about having a good work-life balance where you're just like not completely absorbed into the business. But it wouldn't be fair for me to say it's very difficult to start a business with just like clear boundary between work and life. I think when you have a business, work becomes your life. And so for people who work, the reason why burnouts are so prevalent is because like our work hour goes from 9 to 5 to when I wake up to when I go to sleep. And so it becomes a lot more difficult to actually like take ownership and manage because you can feel like you can just work all the time. And if you're not working, it could be time spent to be working and giving to your business. And I think every kind of business owner kind of goes through this. And over time, you start realizing, okay, how do I actually set more boundaries? But most importantly, like success can only be found. You can only really get out of that through consistency, right? So if you can't be consistent and you're like, I'm just going to work hard on Monday and slack off on Tuesday, slack off on Wednesday, work half day on Thursday, call Friday off, like your business is just not going to go anywhere. Recruiting aside, it's just nothing's going to happen. No energy, no momentum, right? And the people who show up every single day are the ones that can be consistent, especially in this business where it's very sales oriented. You got to give it your all every single day, whether or not you like it, right? The times when I'm sick, I still show up. When I'm on vacation, I still show up. On weekends, I still show up. Probably not the healthiest thing to say, but like that was also the truth in the first year or two where it's just myself. The business was me. So if I stopped, the business stopped, right? And so that's why like it's very, very important for you to kind of go through that, embrace it. I think that's every stage of any business, but you want to kind of get out of that ideally to be more sustainable, where you can kind of work with amazing team members or lean heavier on tech to do the heavy lifting for you. Those are there for a reason, right? But what are some other thoughts here, Ryan, that kind of relate to you?
Yeah, I think one thing that I think about a lot too is that fourth point of it's better to go small and steady than big and burn out. Especially when you're starting out, ambition's high, you have all these ideas, you're like, okay, I'm going to make $1 million this year, I'm going to go crazy. Like that's awesome. But if the inputs needed to get there is not something you can sustain, you will not reach that goal. So it is much, much better that you have a lower output, a lower productivity, not want to say lower productivity rate, but a lower amount of work completed. If that is the amount that you can complete consistently day in, day out, week in, week out. If you're just going to, the first few weeks put in 80 hours, 90 hours, and then don't work for 2 weeks, that's not going to get you anywhere. And so it is better to go slower and steady than bigger and burn out. And again, to just re-emphasize what you've been saying, Preston, it really is all about that consistency. The top performers in any industry, but also specifically in recruiting, are the ones who show up even when they don't want to, right? Preston, let me ask you a question. If you showed up to recruit every day at your desk only on the days that you felt like it, what do you think those results would have been like?
Guys, nothing. Because I want to be real with you. Like I wanted to quit every single day. I probably had that thought at least once or twice every day in my mind, but I don't let it fester. I just move on. Or I just want to stop. I want to take it easy. If I succumbed to those, I wouldn't have been able to do a single placement.
Absolutely. And so I think it's really easy to be a recruiter and do the job when the motivation's high, the energy is high, you're feeling feeling good, but it's really most important on those days when you're tired or sick, you don't want to get up, you have a million reasons not to, but you still push on anyway. That's really what's going to get you to success at the end of the day.
It's a good question, Ryan. It kind of makes me think about one thing. It's like success isn't what you do when people are watching. It's what do you do when people aren't watching, right?
100%.
Because like, especially when you work for yourself, even at a job, your manager can't physically sit next to you all day, but like it's up to you. And if you want to slack off, you slack off. But if you show up every day and you build that like work ethic and discipline, that absolutely will be a huge advantage when it comes to working for yourself, especially in a business. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can be consistent with showing up, that will create a discipline and that will create a really strong work ethic that you can apply to everything in your life, right? If one thing in your life is slop, you end up being late, you move super slow, that will carry on to your professional world too. So how you do one thing can be applied to everything. And I think it's really that quote is like, if I really want to make this happen, it's easy for me to be like, I'm just gonna, watch TV. I'm just not gonna work today. But like, I think those that just are able to kind of be aware of those thoughts and then acknowledge them, which I think is important, but then to be able to ignore them, to move on and be like, hey, I'm gonna keep showing up, keep doing it and just treat it, give my best every day consistently. That's the magic sauce, guys. It's not automation. It's not AI. It's your ability to hold yourself accountable and be consistent day in and day out. That literally is the secret to success. If you can do that, you will be successful in any industry on the planet. If you can't do that, then I think this is a good reality check to be like, you know what? Maybe you're not serious right now. Maybe you can always do it, revisit it a couple years from now, maybe 5-10 years. Maybe you'll be in a different kind of season in your life will be better. But if be real and don't just like go into business for the sake of like flexing on social media, because that's not going to pay your bills, right? So if you're going to do it, treat it seriously, show up, be consistent, and just do it.
Perfect.
So guys, just to kind of recap here, we went through a lot of things here. You want to make sure you prepare for the low cycles, always focus on the best candidate experience, building a personal brand. Hopefully candidates can now and clients can now start coming to you, protect your time religiously, and be consistent. If you can do a combination of these and many more, I promise you, you're on the right track to greatness and success. And we will love nothing more than for you guys to continue to level up. And if you feel like there are things that you follow that we haven't mentioned, please comment them below here. But otherwise, we really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next one.